going. Need to mute my Twitch page and send out the Twitters. All right, we should be good. Hello, everyone. This is Chris Ingerson, and it is October 10th, and this is the October 10th TextQuest Devstream. So, we have a lot to cover today. Specifically, I have some updates from GDEX in Ohio last weekend. Last weekend, and Unite from last week, which was in Austin, Texas. So I had pretty much a solid week of convention stuff that I was doing, which is why I did not have a dev stream for, I think today would have made it 2 weeks. Because of polish necessary for GDEX about 2 weeks ago. Then, of course, GDEX itself, which took up Saturday and Sunday. Then Unite was also the middle of the week last week. So, and I also needed this past weekend to recuperate. I did not sound the best. So, updates from GDEX. I have about 7 pages of notes. Let me check real quick. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pages. 8 pages of notes. Some of which has already been addressed, but the bulk of which we'll probably actually deal with tonight. Just because they're nice little fun things to do to get back into streaming. Nothing too hectic, and also has some. It also has some good notes that I've been thinking about for a while. So that's something that we're going to be doing today. As for Unite, Unite was largely a company trip for the place that I work at, but I was able to make it down to the meet the experts and talk to them about a couple of the issues that I've run into. It was a little frustrating because 90% of my questions were met with, I don't know, specifically. A lot of my substance-related questions, basically every Unity developer shrugged and said they don't even know if someone handles substance anymore. So that's comforting. But fortunately, one of the most annoying bugs. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Let's see. Let's go to the castle real quick. So one of the most annoying bugs that I have currently is the global illumination error thing that tints all of my shadows blue. Let me go ahead and turn on spawn points, test spawn. Let's go ahead and just turn that on. We should be good, right? Yeah, okay. So we're just going to do that. Mess with this real quick. So the way this particular bug happens is basically I clear out any pre-built or any materials that I've already built, and then when I transition back to a stage where they were pre-built, it seems like the global illumination is tinted for some reason. I don't know why it does that, but while I was at Unite, I asked about it, and unfortunately they said that they weren't sure what was causing that. I had to talk to the developer, or the expert for global illumination, and he did not really have too much of an idea of how or why it was doing that. But I did send in a bug report and got feedback finally that this issue should be fixed in 2017.2. So I'm hopeful, but I don't particularly know if that's actually going to be the case or not. I always find it somewhat dubious when they say that it's fixed. Because half the time when they say they fixed it, they did fix it, but then they broke something else relating to substances. So now all of our shadows should be blue. Yep. So hopefully, this issue will be fixed. If it is not fixed when I upgrade to 2017.2, then I will be very unhappy. But then I will just have to keep bugging them until they do fix it, basically. So that was the major issue that I talked to them about. I also talked to them about a couple of other things, some minor animation or animator issues that I've run into in the past, and also the 20-second long delay for stopping playing. And I was also, greeted with another shrug. Don't really know, which is, confidence inspiring. But in any case, so that's sort of the gist of Unite. It was largely a productive thing. I got some okay ideas, but on the whole, nothing super great. And yeah, that brings us to today. So today we are going to be sort of poking through my notes from GDEX, doing some minor fixes, and talking about the future design plans that some of these notes have, or, well, imply. And also today I would like to talk about what my goals are for the end of the year. So I wonder if I should do that last. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. I've spent 5 minutes talking already. So let's see. First couple of things. What would be the first nice thing to work on? Oh, actually, not before I do anything. I do want to talk about something that I started doing, and I don't know why it took me this long to do it, but it did. So something that I have started doing for conventions is compilation specific. Let's see, I think it's down here. Yeah. So scripting defined symbols are basically symbols that you can input into Unity to have it compile specific flags that you set. And part of what I've done now is I now have a flag set for TQ demo, and this specific flag will actually do specific things. So when I set the TQ demo flag, the main menu will no longer. What is going on here? Why are you compiling? Oh, it's because you have to recompile. Duh. So let's go ahead and go back to the main menu real quick, and I'll show you what this does while that transition is happening. Let's reload all of this. And Shazam. There we go. So main view. Open this up. Close this. So you can see that I have these. Where is it? Here we are. Oh, that's interesting. It's not showing it. Oh, it's because it's not all caps. Duh. Let me fix that real quick. Build settings, player settings. Yeah, so that needs to be TQ demo. Ah, crud. Of course I said it dermo. There we go. So, this will allow me to more easily lock features away whenever I'm doing convention builds or demo builds, because I don't want to do things like I don't want to allow people to access the custom content stuff in demos, especially if I'm not watching the demo like a hawk, which I am not doing as much anymore because I'm more confident in my stability for the demos. But if we go back here, reload, you can see that I have these compilation flags set to say, you know, if we are using this TQ demo flag, then I have a special force load thing for the main menu to let me load files. Otherwise, I basically don't actually allow you to load files or continue, for that matter. Mostly because I've noticed that in a lot of conventions, people, well, I wouldn't say it's 50-50, but more like 70-30, with 30% of people when they sit down to play the game, if someone else has played before them, they'll just hit continue, which is one of those things that boggles my mind. I don't know why people would do that, but you know, having this check in there means that people can't just, you know, start playing the game halfway through the demo and then they have no idea what's going on. So this is a nice little quick way of doing that. I no longer have to do a bunch of, I don't have to jump through a bunch of hoops to basically make all of my buttons say specific things or like block code or anything like that. I don't have to rewrite all this stuff every time I want to make a build. So compilation specific flags are now being used in my demo build process. Makes everything a lot easier. I probably should do a little bit more with that, and if we have time tonight, I might get into that. Mostly, let's go ahead and play to show you what I mean. Mostly I don't have grayed out buttons still for that stuff, so it can be a little confusing visually, but it's not terrible. So you can see that these are white, which indicates that you should be able to use them, but if you click on these, it'll tell you you can't load save files in demo. If I type load, or L, or load, or C, but I can do force load, which is mostly a workaround in case someone crashes the game, or if they have to leave and come back at a later time, I can retain all their save files, and then if they want to continue, I can just quickly type force load to get it going again. So that's something that, also I locked off the extras. So that's something that I'm pretty happy with. I think that's actually a nice workflow change for me, so hopefully that'll help me when I'm making these demo builds a lot. All right. Do I have anything else? I think those are the sort of nice workflow changes that I've discovered. Let's go ahead and stop playing. And we're going to go ahead and go back here. I guess we don't really have that. But we do have a 10-second delay still because I have not fixed that bug. And I do not know what it is. So that's like the 4th repro project that I'm going to have to send in to Unity. I have sent a lot of bug reports in over the past couple of days. It has been exhausting. Let's see. Well, I guess while we're in here, since we have to wait anyway, one quick thing that I want to do is change our light verb to a burn verb. So let's see, we want to say verb type. Verb type utility. Close this. So these verb types are, well, they're all of the types of verbs that exist in the game. Light is the verb type that you would use if you want to burn something. So if you say like burn wood or light lamp, those all mean the same thing. And I kept light because light was the first word that came to mind. However, I feel like that's a little... It's not a misnomer because it will function, but I think it's actually better if people think of it as burning more than lighting. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this to burn. So now everything that was light before will now say burn. It's a minor change, although crud. That's actually a little bit more annoying than I would have thought, because it means that my verb types in here are going to have to change to burn. So we might actually change that back for now, because I really don't want to do that on the stream and refactor all that. Okay, so we'll let that go. Let's go back here to compile. And, well, let's go ahead and take a look at our notes. What do we want to do first? A few days. 2 days of notes. 8 pages. Let's see. Oh, we got some minor dictionary stuff we can take care of, actually. So let's see. We have inform and info, which should both, inform, information, and info, which probably all should double as verbs and nouns. So if you are looking, oh, look at that, I already, oh, that's into. Dang. Let's see, insult, inquire. There we go. So we're going to say info, which is a verb and a noun. The verb type is going to be examine. Let's go ahead and insert one below. Insert one below. So this one is going to be inform and then information. And again, all pretty much the same. Oops. So that's a little counterintuitive, but inform, well, I might actually take out inform. Not actually sure if I should do information either. Mostly these are things that I noticed some people typing when they were trying to get more information about things. Yeah, that'll work. Let's go ahead and set this to false. Alright, so that's a quick and easy one. Let's go ahead and knock out some of our other words that were used. Let's see here. Fake. Fake is one that I don't have, which was actually quite embarrassing because I have fake books. Let's see. Fake. That'd be before L. Insert one above. So fake, which is an adjective, and it is false. Okay, nice and simple. Let's see, what else do we have? We have hi, which should actually be an homage. And actually, once we finish the dictionary stuff, we're going to fix a small error that seems to be preventing homages from firing. No idea why, but it is. So, or maybe hello. Oh no, you know what? Actually, that should not be an homage. Instead, it should be a greeting. Also, I did not mean to show my obscenities on the Devstream. Oops. Let's see here. So, let's go to hello. Hello. There we are. So, yeah, we'll just put it similar to hello. say hi, verb, speak. Okay. A lot of people at GDEX tried to talk to the troll by saying hi, and no one. It obviously did not recognize that word, so nothing really happened, and that kind of threw some people off. Thank you and thanks. Those are all words that I don't have any way of implementing right now. So that is... that's something that I'm going to have to think on for thanks. Because in theory, they could just be speaking. And... yeah, you know what? We'll put them in there as speaking for now. So let's go ahead and go down to T's. I really wish I had tabs or something. That would make it a lot easier. Let's see here. Think. Lots of S's, apparently. That. Here we are. Let's insert one above. So, thank. Verb and speak. Go ahead and insert one below. Thanks. Oops. Hate it when it does that. Thanks. Verb. Speak. Insert one below. This will be thank you, which itself will be a verb, and then speak. Okay, we're going to go ahead and say false for all of this. Then we have the wonderful has pair for thank. Has pair, and pairs with you, which I think you exists. Y-O-U, it does, it's just a noun. That's good. Alright, let's see. So that's the thanks. Let's go ahead and see what else we got. Ooh, persuade and shatter. Those are good ones. So shatter is going to be under hit. She's shake, insert one below, shatter, verb, hit, and it's not hidden. And let's see, the other one is persuade, P-E-R. Let's see, where are you? Peruse. That would go for it. I want to make sure that I'm spelling that right. Okay, good. So that is a verb, and it's going to be under speak for now. I don't think it's going to end up changing from that, but I will keep it nonetheless. Let's see. Lie, lies, speak lies, and pet. I don't know about pet. Pet, I feel... let's insert one. So pet, oh, not petrified. Come on. Just pet. So that could be a verb. But what verb would it be? I kind of think that pet would be examine. Honestly, it'd be similar to like touch. And the only reason that I think that is because I don't really know, I don't have like a pet type thing. So for now, I'm just going to stick that under examine. So if you pet something, you're going to examine it. Maybe I can have special outputs for pet, but it is essentially just an examine. But for now, it's just going to, broadly be examined. I'm not going to worry about lies and speak lies because I don't really know what to do there. Something specific seems like it should happen there. All right. Raise and lower, which is something that I would like to use for switches, but that's a little difficult. Stretch. Stretch is also one that I don't really know what to do with, but it was used. Talk to self would, that's actually not a command. Well, that's not a word. That's a series of commands that I need to do. Let's see, pass and picture. All right, so let's go ahead and say pass. Painting pedestal. Here we are. Insert one above. We'll say pass. This is going to be a verb, and I think it's going to be for move for now. But similar to like go. Actually, go is something that we're going to have to examine tonight as well. Let me go up here to go. Go, climb, enter, and exit. It's not move. Interesting. A lot of people tried to type pass to get around the troll in the sewer, and obviously that doesn't work, but I would like it to have a response because enough people tried it. So I'm going to say move for now, and that doesn't seem like a bad thing. All right. So maybe I can make it like enter. It's fine for now. All right. Let's see. Picture. I am actually kind of surprised I don't have this already, but I do not. So let's see. Pick up. Let's see. So it'd be down here. Insert one below. Picture. That is a noun. And let's go ahead and insert one below again. It's going to be pictures. It is also a noun. It is a plural. Okay. And I think that is all of the words. Oh, nope. Right. So I got some good ones near the end there. There is salute, gimme, which gimme should technically work as take. So let's get that one. Salute is something that I'm not entirely sure what to do. There, because I have a lot of things like bow, kneel, salute that people try occasionally, and I don't really know what to do there. So yeah, we might end up combining that with wave, because wave is a verb type. If we go here, you can see that we have. Let's see, where are you? It's somewhere around here. Wave. Which is meant to be interpreted as like waving an item around, but I think a lot of people just think it's like waving your hand. So I would like to change that to more like a type of greeting, I guess. It would be incredibly specific. Like, you could pretty much greet anything. I mean, it would be similar to talking, where when you wave to something, it would say, when you speak to something by default that doesn't have a response, it says the blank does not respond. So waving would probably be like that. And then it would have specific checks for specific types of waving. So you could like bow to the king and it might do something specific. But that's kind of a, I don't want to say it's a waste of a verb, but it's a very specific use, and it's not one that really expands on the game. So that's one that I'm putting a sort of pin in right now. Because I can only have 32 different verb types, and I'm already using 28 of them. So I only get about 3 more. Because I don't actually think I can go up to 32. I think I only go up to 31. So I guess I still have 4. But I can't do any more verbs than that. That's the limit that I get. Just because that's the limit for enums in Unity. And if I try to use a int 64, then Unity complains. So we are stuck with 32 verb types, which is fine, honestly, because if I had more than that, it would kind of get ridiculous. Oh yeah, right, gimme. Whoop. Gimme. Let's see. So that is going to be here. Insert one below. So I think it's G-I-M-M-E. I believe that is gimme. And it's going to be a verb, and it's going to be take. I will look up gimme just to be sure. Yes. Okay, good. It doesn't have any punctuation or anything. It's literally just G-I-M-M-E. Sweet. Okay. Ew. Ew is something that I don't know how to handle. I feel like that should be an homage, but I don't know really what I should say there, because I feel like it should be contextual. Let's see. For and gross. Gross is an adjective, but let's go ahead and type that in. CGR. Below. Gross. Adjective. I think people were using it as a type of exclamation, similar to ew, but I, again, don't really know what to do with them. So for now, I'll just include them as an adjective. But oh, right, existential crisis. Someone typed that in. I feel like that should have something. All right, so let's go ahead and go over here to homages. And existential crisis. We'll leave that alone for now. All right, let's go to add-ons, export sheet data. I'm going to go ahead and export this. Let's see, everything should be set. Okay, we'll export that. Come back here, and I'm going to go ahead and load up the castle. And I'm going to show you what I mean when I say that homages are not working. And who knows, maybe in attempting to show an audience, they will suddenly start working. I doubt that, though. All right, so we have text quest, and that should be an homage, but it's not. And I'm guessing that's because it seems like the validation stage is happening, but that should not be the case, unless it is for some reason just doing like a straight case sensitive check, which it again should not do. So we're going to stop playing. We're going to go to the parser. Let's see, parser.cs. We're going to turn on debugging. Let's see, debug. So it's true. Might as well turn on robust debug. All right. Okay, it's done compiling. Let's try this again. So text quest. Too many, or not, there were no verbs. See, that's interesting. So it has to be like a complete match or something. Yeah, that's super weird, right? Okay. Let's go ahead and stop playing. Maybe my... No, let's go ahead and play again. Maybe my homages are not set up? That would be super awkward. Let's go to global, and I think... Actually, it's probably just on global. Let's see. Dictionary. Homages. Oh! I know what it is. It's because I'm stupid. Okay. Yep. I know what this is. Let's go ahead and edit script. It is because I was stupid. So it's grabbing the homages, but it's not grabbing cross promotion, which includes my own stuff, because I wanted to have developers all in one area. So that's why I was doing that. Okay, then that is actually a super simple fix, and we can... Oh, crap. I should not have deleted that. Well, we'll just export it again. All right, so we'll just update our dictionary, and while that's happening, let's go ahead and go up here to update. Update dictionary, homage list. Let's see here, JSON homages. Let's go ahead and duplicate this. So JSON cross promotions. Let's go ahead and duplicate this. Cross promotions. Cross promotions. Make sure that that's correct. That's just called cross promotion. Boop. Okay, let's grab this. Call that. Okay. Let's download our JSON file. By the way, I do have to say that I always enjoy how, for some reason, in Google Drive, JSON files always have different symbols for some reason. I think it's because they don't actually have a file type symbol for JSON files, but it always seems to change, and that always makes me laugh. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back here. Go to our dictionary, show an explorer. Let's go back down here. And before I forget, because I'm paranoid, down here. And okay, making sure that my audio was still transmitting. All right, let's see. Go here, show in folder. Grab this, drag it over, replace. Delete this. All right, let that show up, and we need to go down here to JSON homages. Copy this. Paste it in, cross promotions, same thing. And yeah, that's all pretty much the same. So now when we do it, it should actually update properly. So it should no longer just say 14 here, it should have the full list. And we should have some new words. Alright, let's go ahead and clear this out. Let's hit update. Boosh. Wow, got 16 new words. Okay, that's pretty good. Homages, looks like we're all good here. Yep. Alright, so now let's try doing a regular homage again. See if that fixes it. Of course it would be something small like that. Which is the story of my life, by the way. I had a buggier build than I was expecting for GDEX, and that is purely because I had a lot of systems that worked fine independently, but when they came together, there were a few tweaks that I needed to make, and I just didn't do them because I didn't think about them. So let's do text quest. Hooray! Yay! Let's see, sleepy owl. What else do we got? God, the stacks on stacks. Ian, you gave me such a hard one to type. I'm too lazy for that. It all works. All right, so that makes me excited. And I guess there are a couple of minor updates that we could make to object descriptions, but we're not going to worry about those for now. Mostly because those are kind of tedious to update. So let's see. Add note about door handle, make magic wall interactable, sewer water should be interactable. A lot of things that people are trying to interact with. Combat words. That is a whole update. So the note I'm currently looking at is allow combat words to start with the same letter, but don't allow them to spawn if another word is already using that starting letter. So to show you what I mean, go ahead and go to the sewers real quick. We're going to get into a fight with a troll, and we're going to show you the combat system to talk through some of the things that I really need to do to fix it, because it's kind of blah right now. And I'm actually already in the middle of refactoring it, admittedly. Well, not really refactoring it, although I really do need to. It's kind of held together with bubblegum and pixie sticks at this point. Let's see here. Go ahead and maximize on play. I need... Nah, it's fine. I'm going to go ahead and get into a fight. Troll. So if I hit this, I'm also going to mute the audio just because I know that that's kind of annoying. All right, so the combat system itself is solid, I think, but we do have some problems with usability. So keep an eye on the left, so all of the words that will spawn around me. So you can see hit. Already punch is behind the counter, the combo counter. And that's already like a red flag. That's terrible. That should never happen. Which means that I explicitly need to make sure that the combo label, excuse me, is basically like a no-go area. You cannot have a word show up behind the combo. You need to make sure that that's impossible. But if I fight again, you'll see that none of the words that pop up, none of them have the same starting letter. And that's because if you're typing, the last thing that I want is for you to start typing slice when slash was up. And maybe it thinks that you meant slash, and then you start typing, you're looking at slice, you're seeing that that's not going anywhere, and you're wondering, well, why isn't it typing? I started typing it, and that's because it started typing the other word. But someone did bring up a good point at GDEX that it would be possible to allow for words to start with the same letter. Just make sure that the words do not spawn while another word with the same starting letter exists. So if you can have both slice and slash, but you can only have one of them at a time. So that'll help expand on the vocabulary a little bit for each battle scene, and I think that'll overall help with it. The other thing that I need to do, which I actually can't do right here, is when you're equipping items, it still uses the default battle text, so it'll say stuff like punch, kick, crush, whatever. But the words that show up should actually reflect what you're trying to do. So if you're trying to equip an item, it should say equip, wield, hold, grab, whatever. If you're trying to use an item for healing, it would say stuff like heal, restore. I don't want to say medicate because that's super long. But anything along those lines of healing. And if you're using a damaging item or a special item or whatever, they're supposed to be contextual. So that's something that needs to be looked into. And I believe, actually, I think it already takes care of that. So let's go ahead and stop playing. Let's take a look at our design here. Let's go to Interactive Object Template. And there should be under Item. Oh, I don't. Huh. I probably should. So I have a type of weapon, but in reality, I probably should actually. Well, no, that's probably why I did it. So this gets into one of those things where it's kind of a design decision. Do I have the type of the weapon determine what words that it gets, which is like a flat list of words? Except that doesn't make sense because these exist. So actually, I'm going to move that into item, I think. And we'll just have a, weapon. We'll just have a, combat messages. And, that gets so annoying because when you're equipping items, it should say something different, like equip or wield, than when you're unequipping them, which should say something like unequip or put away. And that's just, actually, except put away is not a thing because I don't want to do spaces. That would just confuse people. So that's not great. That is a design decision that we're going to have to make. That is not something we're going to tackle tonight because the combat stuff is kind of it's a little up in the air right now. I'm still kind of arms deep in a refactor or a refit there. Most notably, actually, I have ported all of the cutscenes for combat over to timelines. So I have timelines set up for each of these combat cutscenes. However, I am still currently using the old cinema director stuff, mostly because I didn't really feel comfortable swapping over the day before I showed this at a convention. But this is something that I will probably do this week. I'm hoping actually I'll be able to do this tomorrow, just so that we can come in on Thursday and do a quick review of it, make sure that everything looks like it's going well. But that is something that's on my plate currently, and I am increasingly, by the way, really wanting to get QA of some kind going, because it is a lot of the bugs that I tend to find are really, really stupid quick fixes that I just don't find because I don't find them. And because it's very, very difficult for you to test your own game. Let's see here. What else do we want to do? Let's see. Partial verbs, cache sentences. I spelled sapphire wrong in the description. Climbing animations is something that someone has brought up at GDEX, and that was actually an interesting conversation. So I'll show you not what climbing animations look like, but where they would be used. Basically, anytime the player character would climb like a ladder, or really any sort of, we can probably turn on audio. No, that's right. That's why we can just talk to the troll. Aha! So, anytime you would climb this, it was suggested that maybe instead of just fading to black and then popping up, you would actually get a climbing animation. And I am a little torn on that idea, just because it is cool, but at the same time, what would I do? So let's go ahead and climb up. What would I do here when I say climb down? I would have to have some way of basically moving the player into position and then rotating them and then showing them climbing down. And I'm not a huge fan of that. But I do not recommend. I do understand that it kind of would make it it'd be a nice little touch. But I personally think that it's better just for me to fade to black, and get some sound effects going, which is something that's been in my pipeline for a while, and is actually, I think, the next big thing that we're going to do, allowing sounds to play when you do actions. That is going to be, I don't want to say a major refit, but it's not going to be minor. It's actually going to tie into things like my audio system, and that means that we'll probably be revisiting my music manager at some point, and that means I need to get a composer, because I am tired of not having music, and I think I am almost to the point where I would not feel bad about working with a composer at a slightly slower rate. So let's see. What are some other things that we can do? Oh, you know what? Removing the use randomization. This is one that we've been talking about for a while. So currently, if you type use and you say use key, the game doesn't know what to do with that. Use could mean literally anything. So if I say use self, it says uses a vague word to see a list of verbs type V. And then after that, I say I randomly assume you wanted to enter the self. Nope. So what happens here, we're going to unpack this, is when you type use, mute that as well so we don't hear the babbling brook sound forever. When you type use, the parser specifically flags use as everything, because use could mean any of the verb types. So I say use is a vague word to see a list of verbs type V. That is the thing I do to try and give people a hint that you should try to be more specific. But then I do this, I randomly assume you wanted to enter this to enter, which actually that could be any of the verb types. It just randomly picks one. And I kept that in because I wanted you to have a chance to have use actually work. So if you type use key when you're interacting with the door, then you could potentially say, or it could be interpreted as insert the key. But more likely than not, it would just say something like, you try to burn the key, or you try to examine the key. And that just confuses people. Um, More often than actually, like the most common thing that I've seen so far is it says you tried to equip the key. How exactly does one equip the key or equip a key? And then people just immediately type equip key and they assume that's going to happen or something's going to happen from that. So it's more confusing than I would like. I really wanted to do this just because I wanted to have something more interesting than uses a vague word, see a list of verbs by typing V. But it's too confusing, and we're just gonna have to live with that fact. It's so disappointing. But it's not worth confusing everyone just so that I can keep this one design thing. All right, so let's go ahead and go to, I think this is our parser. Oh, really? Let's look for use. Let's you used blah blah blah. All this fun string concatenation. You used. Let's see. Scroll down. Actually, you know what? It might be all the way up here. Use from. Nope. That is not. It's preposition. Huh. Really? It's not in the parser. Well, that's interesting. That means it must be an interactive object. Interactive object. All right. So let's go ahead and open that up. Over here. And let's see. Let's look for use here. It could be here. Yep, here we are. So we have a specific phrase check for use. Yeah. All right. Let's just go ahead and do this. Wow, that is a lot. I'm just going to comment that out for now. Oh, except I can't. All right. And what we're going to do there is, instead of saying go to next, we are just going to return. So we're going to go ahead and say parser dot stop parser, which just means that it stops going through. And we're not going to reset anything really, but we will return here. So let's go ahead and say use is too vague a word. Please be more specific. To see a list of verbs, type V. All right, let's see if that looks good. All right. So use self. Use is too vague a word. Please be more specific. To see a list of verbs, type V. I really wish I could get that into 2 sentences. Well, 2 lines. Let's see. Use is too vague a word. Maybe I should just say use is too vague. Please be more specific. I don't think that would actually get me 2 lines, though. It would probably move more up here, but it wouldn't get specific up there. I could say be more specific. Like, don't be polite at all. Just say, let's see. use is too vague. We'll say, we'll just knock out the please. Be more specific. All right, let's take a look at that. I'm not entirely sure what else to do there. Although I do feel like I should probably consolidate things like this, these strings, into a central location, just so that I can use like constants instead of strings that are just generated there. And it will make it much easier to adjust that stuff if I ever need to. All right, so we're gonna say use self. Use is too vague. Be more specific. I was right. I needed to get rid of the please. So use is too vague. Be more specific. To see a list of verbs, type V. So that works. I didn't think that this used to be like this. I thought that it had some white space up here, but that is like right up against the top there. That's a little concerning. Let's see. There are 28 accepted verb types. Take, drop, equip, unequip, blah, 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 blah. It's all good. Okay. So, I mean, that's... I guess that's the best we can do, honestly. Because anything less than that is not really going to handle it very well, and it will cause more confusion. It's just so disappointing that I have to use that canned response. Alright. So that's that. That's a pretty major usability issue, just fixed right off the bat. Let's see. It's only been an hour. I wonder, would it be good to start doing audio stuff today? Or should I save that for tomorrow? Well, Thursday. I might save that for Thursday, just because I would like to straighten up my sound manager stuff, make sure that it's all functioning correctly. Well, I mean, I know it's functioning correctly, but there are a couple of additions that I would like to make to it, just to help speed things up. Although I guess we'll take a look at it. It's been a while since I've looked at my sound manager stuff in here, admittedly. Let's see. Data. Animation, data, audio, and sounds, which is not a thing. Oh my goodness, this is so old. God. The music. The music all needs to change. Alright, let's see here. Music manager. Really, do I not have a... I do have sound manager. Let's go up to resources. Global, sound manager. Grab this, and... Oh! Right, I just pass it. That's that information. Right. So, crap. Yep. That means I'm going to have to, yeah, we're going to have to refactor the sound manager stuff to use a little bit more of a more spreadsheet-friendly approach. Because ideally we'll be passing in IDs for sound effects or sound clips. And that means we'll have to set all that up, which is not great. Okay. Well. What to do about that then? Well, nothing today, because that means I'm going to have to do a pretty significant overhaul. And I think it would be good to spend an entire day basically on audio. I think that would be a nice thing. Let's see. Oh, you know what we can check real quick? Sewer levels, the cameras. Okay, good. I did make these the actual correct camera colors at the very least. Oh, except I probably should go ahead and grab these, make these black for the background. Let's see. Oh, and I suppose turn off a lot of that. Should be good. Cool. Let's see. What other things can we sort of burn through super quickly? I need to change the curtains in the throne room to be banners. That's a very minor change. And actually, C-U-R-T-A-I-N-S, so that's 8. B-A-N-N-E-R-S. Dang it, that's only 7. I was hoping that it would be basically the same amount of letters, so that it would just be a swap, but that's not too bad. It just means that banners are going to have to be spaced a little bit more. Mostly because, let's go ahead and look at that actually. To show you what I mean. Go to the castle. Yeah, go ahead and save, because I did make changes. So you can see that we have these curtains hanging up in the scene, and they just say curtains. But I think it would make more sense for them to say banners, because they technically are banners, not curtains. Curtains would be what you have in the drawing room and in the bedroom. So let's go ahead and we can't really do anything about that. That's going to be an art thing. It wouldn't be too bad to fix though. Let's see. Do we now have something that's a little bit more topical? Sewer level manager, show incorrect global illumination as a save file was made before ending the... Right, that's a fun thing. Yeah, there's a weird global illumination error that occurs where if you load all... Well, actually, you know what? Let's take a look at that, see if we can hunt that down. Seems like a good thing to do. Let's go to the sewers real quick. We're just going to... Actually, you know what? I probably should. Let's just go ahead and go up here. We're going to have to go up to the castle. Oh, and this is going to be interesting. Will it freeze? I wonder. No, it didn't. Interesting. But we do have broken substances, which is, well, not broken substances, broken global illumination. So when I was trying to show this bug to the Unity experts at Unite, I ran into another bug where coming up from the sewers seemed to just not finish loading the substances. And that's super bizarre, because as you just saw, it did it. Now, that could be because these substances had already been loaded in memory, and maybe that was not a problem. But that is another bug that kind of came out of nowhere, and it really concerns me, actually. So pull, let's do all this fun stuff. Let's go back downstairs. I mostly did this so that we'll get the auto save, although I guess that was kind of pointless because I could have just saved manually. But in any case, start. All right, let's go ahead and turn off audio. Or we'll turn on audio. We're just gonna sort of jump to the end here. Take. Oh yeah, I didn't get too many comments on the new HUD stuff, but that's kind of to be expected, just because, well, it's it's kind of subtle, and unless people had played it recently, they probably wouldn't even remember what the old HUD was. So I'm going to chalk that up as a win. I didn't really have any problems with it. Rotate right. Oh, and actually, you know, that's something we can do tonight. Currently, if you do this, it says the dial will not pull that way, but that's not good feedback. It should say the dial will not pull down or something like that. and then it should maybe list the directions that it can be. Like the dial can only be pulled clockwise or counterclockwise. Rotate left. Okay, let's go ahead and solve this. So please move. Oh, and you know what? I probably should say something like that and that. I'm going to say that seems correct. All right, let's go ahead and let that go. Let's climb. All right. So we are going to end the demo. And then when we go back to the main menu, it should load that. Dang it! It picked the camera that I did not want it to pick. I guess that means I have to stop playing. Which really sucks. Oh, no, never mind. I was going to say that really sucks because it's going to take 20 seconds, but then it didn't. And now I'm angry. Oh, crud. Wait, hold on. Does it have something to do with going through the splash fade? That would be interesting. I wonder why. Huh. No idea. I'll have to take a look at this. Must have something to do with... I don't know. That seems odd. Well, in any case. Certainly is taking a while to open up, considering that it's an empty scene. Alright, we're going to go through here. I really hope we get lucky and get it on the first try. Otherwise, it's going to suck. It's going to take forever. Just like this. I don't know what causes that. It's weird. Interesting. So it's not consistent. Or maybe it's a build thing. That could be. I've noticed that there are quite a few differences between the build, like the actual build, and the editor. Now, that's not really that surprising. Normally, the editor has a lot of extra functionality built into it, but it's things that I wouldn't expect to be problems. For example, the battle transition, just half of it works. Specifically, I'll go ahead and swap back over to the sewers in about 20 years when we get back there. Until then, I'm going to take a drink. I just thought it would be funny to do a drinking game where I just had to keep drinking until it stopped playing. And they're like, nope, I would be dead by the time that that happened. Let's go back to the sewers real quick. So when we start fighting the troll, we have this Final Fantasy-esque battle transition that spirals the screen and applies like a brightening post-process effect to make everything kind of look super JRPG-y. But the main thing is, I'm going to go ahead and so we get this, then we get a fade to black, and then we get a like opening type animation. So that is not what builds look like. I'm going to go ahead and stop playing. And let's go here. Game development. Unity. Text quests, builds. Do I have something for GDEX? It might not matter really. Alright, so I think this is going to be an old build, but the old build should still show the problem that I have. Assuming that it actually works, which it might not. Alright, so let's go ahead and skip through all this. That's a little concerning. Let's do a new game. Chris. Yes, normal. Oops. Normal. Right, green. Yes, yes. Okay. So we're just going to go through this until we get to the fight. Oh, and actually, you know what? While we're here, we can go ahead and show you that battle wording that I was talking about. Say open through here. So wizard cutscene overall still seems to be doing pretty well. I do have a lot of people who want to like interact with it, and that's understandable. I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. Um, and it's very frustrating for me personally. I don't like having the player just sit behind a wall for 10 seconds. It it is not my favorite thing. In fact, I get really infuriated when that happens to me in games. But I honestly don't know what else to do there. So let's go say open, pull. Glad I had the spoilers the tag open. So yeah, I don't really know what to do there, but I don't know. I'm still trying to think of better ways to convey that cutscene because I'm sure that there is one without taking control away from the player. I just need to find it. In any case, okay, good. I do have the scepter. Let's go ahead and oh, by the way, not speaking, but seeing how my mouse movements are, I did have a couple of people at GDEX actually complain, well, not really complain, but mention that they are not comfortable in a high reaction environment like this. So I can, if any of you are motion sick, I apologize, but like I'm perfectly fine moving this fast one-to-one mouse movement, like very, very much like Doom or something. But considering that the audience for this is going to be a much broader audience than hardcore first-person shooter, I think some amount of mouse what's it called? Mouse smoothing. Mouse smoothing, whatever. Would probably be appreciated. And it would also personally just help me in in trailers whenever I'm doing like sweeping shots of things. You won't have this sort of jittery stop and pop, like perfect smooth. Well, not perfect smooth, but mouse smooth. That's whatever. So I'm going to hit the troll, and you'll see that the transition effect should happen, but the fade from white to black, and then the subsequent opening animation should not happen. Yeah, there. It just spits you out. No idea why that happens. It's incredibly infuriating that it does. And it makes no sense, because there's no errors, there's no nothing. It just happens like that. So I'll show you the item equip message that I was talking about. So you can see that it says like crush, attack, kick, hit, punch, stomp, crush. But really it should have said stuff like equip, wield, whatever. That's interesting. This also completely borked my cutscenes. Well, I'm glad that this never happened in the demo. Not that I saw. Okay. Go ahead and flee. Also, this needs to be fixed. If you get double what the troll got when you're escaping, it says critical. That makes no sense. Alright. Go ahead and quit. Quit out. Alright. So, yeah, there's a lot of changes that need to happen. And I have 2 weeks to do so. I have one more convention this year, and that's going to be in West Virginia on October 27th. So it's going to be on Friday, and that weekend, really. So that gives me 2 weeks to implement quite a few fixes and changes that I would really like to see make their way into the game. But before we end tonight, I am going to go ahead and fix that valve rotation problem. So let's go ahead and go over here, select our valve, go ahead and open up dial switch. Let's see, rotate the object name. Right, so here is our sentence where we basically say the dial will not pull that way, or what have you. Which is actually super confusing, isn't it? Because it's not a dial. Does it really not use the object name for that? Let's go ahead and over here, we're going to try to rotate it, see exactly what it says. Rotate. Oh, I'm sorry, not rotate, pull. Yeah, it says the dial will not pull that way. All right, so let's go ahead and change that to say, I guess the handle, honestly, will not blank that way. So instead of this, I think I'm going to, one, expose this? Well, no. That's all right. Let's also change this to lower name, or name lower. There we go. Let's see, the handle will not blank that way. So, let's see, so this is movement. Ah, man, that means, I just realized that, wait, I guess that makes sense. But I think that means you could type things like go. No, go isn't move anymore, that's right. So the dial will not move that way versus the dial will not move down. The dial will not pull down. Let's go look at our dictionary real quick. I want to see what objects are set to be move. Deactivate. That is not great. Admittedly, quite a few interactions kind of rely on sensible interactions on the player. So technically, deactivate handle would work because it would try to move it, but that doesn't really make sense because it's rotating. And then it would have to say which way would you like to deactivate the handle? Yeah, so that's not great. The dial or the handle will not activate that way. The handle will not deactivate that way. It's not terrible, I guess. Yeah, all right. Deactivate. What other ones we have? Flip. The dial will not flip. That will not flip. Okay, yeah. So let's go ahead and say it's that way. We'll say that, and then sentence dot direction to lower. Oh, crud. Yeah. All right. Wait, hold on. Is that an actual direction type? Yeah. I should probably say dot word dot to lower. I think that. Nope, I can't do that. I actually need to use the direction. So this little line here, sentence.direction.word, is going to give me the actual word that carries the direction implied in the sentence. So if you say like turn right, then right would be returned. But if you say pull has a implicit understanding of down, which means that you can just say pull if you want to pull something down. And that means that the word returned here would actually be pull, which means that our sentence would say the handle will not pull, which I think is actually something that I've run into before. So I think that's actually why I changed it to that way. But instead, I'm just going to have to suck it up and say dot direction dot toString dot to lower. That is not what I like. I do not like doing all of this casting because that means I'm making like 4 strings every time I need to do something, which is not ideal. But what are you going to do? So, all right. let's go ahead and give this a shot. I think that way was honestly just like a catch-all net. It's not ideal, but all right. Let's take a look at this. Try to do it. So now when we try to pull it in a direction that doesn't make sense, it should actually say the dial will not pull down, or the dial will not pull left. Well, actually, it won't say that for left because it will work for left, right, and the counterclockwise stuff. So let's run over here. If I say pull, the handle will not. The handle will not pull 34. Okay. That is unexpected. Huh. Okay. That's not great. That actually deeply concerns me. Okay. What to do about that? Let's go ahead and test some other things first. So I'm going to say like pull down. So that's correct. And that's because down is a specific verb or a specific direction, and therefore it takes priority over. What the heck? The dial will not pull down? What? Why are you duplicating like that? What? That's why I changed it to that way, because it didn't make sense. Oh dear. This is not ideal. Yeah. Let's go ahead and look at our dictionary. Let's look at our words, and we want to go to pull. Oh my goodness, I really should separate these by frickin' like headers or something. Pull. So pull has an implied direction of down and out. That would be why it gave us an int value, because it's a bit mask, which means that it can be more than one value. But what about down? Why is down like that? That's particularly odd. Down. Let's see, down. There it is. It is a direction of just down, but it seems to double up for some reason. So that's not super great. Let's go ahead and close this. And then we closed our dictionary because it's so large. So at about 600 words, I think you'll start noticing laggy dictionary inspector. I don't really know why. I'm guessing it's just because of all of the elements and their information that it has to serialize. But yeah, I do not like opening words when I have this many of them. So I probably honestly should have some sort of like search functionality. That would be super cool. But that is an editor tooling for a different day, I think. All right, let's go ahead and come down here. So I think I need to do direction utility. Direction ID utility dot. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is not great. So basically what I want to do here is I want to extract whatever the first value is here. And it seems like if I don't do it that way, then it will basically break in unexpected ways. So that's not great. Yeah. Yeah, that would be why I did that way. Alright. Let's go to direction ID utility. Okay. I guess I'm going to have to mask. Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? I think if I'm lucky, I might. I'm not. Dang it! I was really hoping that I could just get an array of my IDs individually, but that does not seem to work, unfortunately, which does mean that I have to come up with a little bit more of a clever way of doing this. Also, I have to do bitwise operations, which I am not the best at. It's been a while since I've done these. So... Yeah, I think we're going to just do this. Public static direction type get first direction, and we will pass in a direction type. Direction. All right, so we're going to have to say, well, how do I want to do this? Well, this is going to suck. But I guess I'm just going to have to do this. If direction.contains direction type.up return direction type.up. So I don't like doing this, but it is probably the fastest way for me to do this, short of looping through everything. Down. Oh, let's go ahead and say down. And we'll just, so left, right, in, out, clockwise, counterclockwise. Okay. Otherwise, I guess we'll have to say return dot. Oh, here we are. We'll return none. That should work. Clockwise and clockwise. Let's go ahead and get out. Out. In. Right. Oops. Did a full thing, didn't I? Right. Left. All right. So let's go back to dial switch, and we're going to go ahead and say direction dot get what? Right. This then direction ID utility dot get first direction. See if that fixes it, because that should basically distill everything down to a single thing. Hello, Leopotam. Better to mark enum types with flags attribute. Yeah, that's true. I found out about that after I started doing all this stuff, so I just haven't really messed with moving my bitmask stuff over to that. Although I kind of need this. Oops, where'd it go? I kind of need this stuff anyway, just for conveniences, so that I can actually quickly check if a direction has those specific values. But yeah, that's something that I've been meaning to convert over, just to mess with it. But either way, welcome to the Devstream. We are currently trying to get direction pulling to display what direction it can't pull in. So let's see. If we go ahead and say pull. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. So the handle will not pull down. Or let's say pull up. The handle will not pull up. Ah, no! Seriously? Why am I getting duplicates like that? That's super weird. So if I type pull, pull down. Why would down happen? That doesn't even make sense. Huh. Okay. Let's go ahead and stop playing. Why would it do that? That seems odd. Dial switch. I mean, what's super odd about it, the thing that really gets me, is that I'm not spacing it out. It's just doing that. It somehow knows that down needs to have a space there, and I don't know how. That's super weird to me. All right, let's go ahead and just debug this. So let's go ahead and say debug.log. And that should hopefully do something. We'll find out. At the very least, it should either give me an integer or a string that says down, which will be rather annoying. Why on earth would it duplicate like that? I'm not even looking at it. That's weird. All right. So no, never mind. Let's see. So pull down. Will not pull down. Crud. I forgot about this. There. What the heck? It's just down. That doesn't. Why? Why? You are quite confusing. Okay. That's so weird. Alright. Yeah, a couple of things. First off, let's go ahead and turn off debugging in our parser. All the way back up to here. So false. False, or false, I guess. False. All right. And so this should be anything that debugs now. I'm going to debug a couple of other things just to test things. So we'll say direction dot to string. Oh, and actually, you know what? I guess I should do this, shouldn't I? Okay. Go ahead and get rid of this. Oops. Paste this in. Dot to string. Dot to lower. I want to know if there is, for any reason at all, an oddity going on here. So I'm not even going to debug to string here. Okay. So now we should see the raw direction, the first direction in the list, then the string versions of that. And I want to see if any of them double up and say down, or up. Because that's so weird. And I don't know why it does it. This is the only place I've ever seen something like that. It's super strange to me. All right, let's see here. Go ahead and run over there. Honestly, I probably should have just moved my spawn point over here. Cut down on the running time. All right, so we're going to say pull. I will not pull down, or the handle will not pull down. That's expected. I'm also going to go ahead and turn off maximize on play so we can keep an eye on this. Although we did get 34. Interesting, which was expected, kind of. So we're going to say pull down. Ha! It's so weird. Wait. Maybe pull is getting converted to that? That doesn't make sense, though. It's so weird. Because you can see that we're not... Let's go ahead and mute audio so we don't have to listen to that babbling on. But you can see that we're never getting doubles like this. It seems to... It must be a weird thing with string.format. So let's stop playing. I'm going to try and cache this, I guess. So let's go ahead and just say... so I'm going to move this into a string declaration here. It's equal to this. And I want to see if direction string causes it to double up. Because if it doesn't, then that just means that it's some weird thing with how string.format is handling our bit masks. I don't really know why that would be the case. And if it doesn't, if it does, or I'm sorry, if it does still double up, then that means that it's something to do with our actual word, the verb, for some reason. Again, no idea why that would be the case, but I guess it's interesting to try and figure this out. That's so weird because I've never had a bit mask return twice, basically, or return the same value twice. Let's take a look at this. So pull, okay, pull down. It doubled up again. It has to be. It has to be the pull verb then. That's the only thing that makes sense. Hello, Arshig. Any new demo stories from cons? Yes! Actually, I went to GDEX 2 weekends ago. And I was all high and mighty going into GDEX. I'm like, yeah, my build is perfectly stable. And then the first person who played it broke everything. Like, just world-shatteringly broke it. Like, straight up, animations were wrong. GI was messed up. You couldn't load, and you couldn't... I think you could save, but you couldn't load or continue. Everything just broke. I figured out what it was fairly quickly, and it was because I didn't do a good enough job testing my game. But yeah, the very first person to play the game, broke it horribly. He still had a good time. He had a wonderful time. He was super happy to be breaking my game in half. But that was a little mortifying for me, personally. And actually, that is not the first time that happens. Anytime, actually, on Saturday night, which was the night after the first day of demoing, I was staying with a buddy of mine. We got an Airbnb together because we have no money. And I joked after making a few fixes, I'm like, that's probably good enough. Of course, because I said that, that means it's going to have a horrific bug. And it kind of did again. It wasn't game-breaking this time, but it was infuriating. So we're going to debug this. And I think we'll see if that doubles up. Just because I'm curious. I don't know where down is coming from. I have to... Doesn't make sense. All right. Let's go ahead and debug that as well. Yeah. So that was super fun. And again, it was because I just did not test my game thoroughly. What ended up happening that broke everything is that when you make a save file, let's go ahead and actually go to my saves. So when you make a save file, it does what a lot of RPGs do. It takes a snapshot of where you are in this like low resolution image here, just so that when you load back in, you can, when you hover over the save file, it'll show you a little image just show you where you were. That way you don't have to actually start playing the game to remember where you were. You can just take a glimpse of that. But I wasn't generating these for manual save files, which meant that when someone made a manual save file and tried to load, it looped through and tried to load a image that didn't exist, and that just threw a null reference error. So because I just never tried to load when I was doing my demos, while testing my demo, I never ran into that. And that was, again, incredibly mortifying because immediately I knew what it was. And, well, not immediately, actually. That one took me a little bit of guesswork. But then I knew that it had something to do with save files. And then very quickly after opening it up, I just immediately deduced what it was. And I'm like, stupid Chris, this is all your fault. So that's me. How have you been? Ugh. I never like it when my game breaks like that. It's always embarrassing. Quite embarrassing. Let's see here. So I want to pull down. There it is. It is. This. Oh, wait. Hold on. No. 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 Is this because is pull up and pull down? Are they joint words? No, surely. Oh, it is. Oh, it is. That's why. That's why it's doubling up. Because it's not. So it's not saying pull down, down. It's saying pull down, down. Frack. Oh, geez, that complicates things so much. Okay. Right. So that means I actually need to do string comparisons. Yay! Not really, though. All right. Alternatively, I could get rid of pull up. Pull up does not really. Yeah, here's where we get kind of iffy. I think if I get rid of pull down and pull up, because pull down and pull up actually aren't doing anything that just regular old pull up individually wouldn't accomplish. So I don't really think I need this. So, okay. Let's go ahead and stop playing. Let's change that in our dictionary. Stop playing. There we go. Better now than 4 months down the line, I guess. Are you saying that you're better now than you will be 4 months down the line? That sounds very ominous. Or are you saying that it's better that I caught this now, these game-breaking bugs now, than 4 months down the line? Because I could read that either way, and one is significantly more depressing. Okay, so we're going to get rid of pull down and not pull out. Pull down and pull up. Get rid of these. No, that is very true. I am, like, despite the fact that I say I'm mortified whenever someone breaks my game, I'm happy at the same time because it means that I can fix it. So I'd rather that people find these things at conventions than, I ultimately end up shipping it and then someone finds it and they just can't get through it and they hate the game because, I don't know. So I'm also going to change pull out to simply extract instead of move and extract. That might end up biting me. But we're going to get rid of up and down. Okay. Okay, yeah. So let's go ahead and re-download this. And then we will re-update everything. Not a mystic by any means. How do you know? Have you ever tried? You never know what mysticism might work for you. Go ahead and download this. Same thing, show in folder. Grab our dictionary here. Replace. All right. Let's go ahead and update our dictionary. Sweet. So we removed those two phrases, which means that now if I say pull down, it should say the dial will not pull down. All right. So pull down the dial. Will not pull down. Pull up. Yes! Fixed it. Ha! That's been in there for an eternity. How close would you say you are to publishing? Just rough percentage. I am 60% done, roughly. Although if you've been if you know me if you've known me for a while, that's kind of a joke because I've been saying it's been 60% done for like 2 years now. Um, but I am actually serious now when I say 60% done because I am almost done with the first 2/3 of the game. So I am actually about 60% done. Uh, my goal, and this is something I started talking about at the beginning of the stream today, well, it's one of the things that's on the docket for today. So I guess it's a good time to talk about it. So before the end of this year, so before the end of 2017, I want to have the overworld done-ish. I want all of the puzzles to be implemented. I want all of the level traversal to function. I want everything to be possible and playable by the end of this year. Now it might still be a little rough, maybe a little bit of art polish, things like light map baking and whatnot. I'm fine with letting that spill over a little bit because that's kind of when I get closer to like the 90% marker, I'm probably going to go through and rebake a lot of the light maps to make them super nice, and make sure that everything looks right. But by the end of this year, I want to have the actual first 2/3 of the game basically done, and I'm very close to that. I have the cabin, the plains, the canyon, the forest, and the hero's grove. All of those are modeled, retextured. They're almost polished, but we're gonna actually finish all of that up in the coming 2 months. So I would like to say I'm in a pretty good position to actually make that target. And once I do that, that means that I'm hopefully within a year, year and a half, maybe 2 years at most, hopefully, of launching. Because the last third of the game is by far the largest third of the game. In fact, each level in the last third of the game is kind of like 2.5 levels of the middle part of the game. Just because they're meant to be way more complex, way more interconnected, and way more interesting visually and, well, design-wise. So yeah, that's kind of my goal. Not kind of, that is my goal. That is what I want to do. And I think if I can do that, then I will be on a very strong path to actually finishing the game, relatively speaking, soon. And yeah, we'll see how things end up panning out for the last third of the game. I'm hoping that won't take me more than a year and a half, but pretty soon I'm going to have to start doing QA and beta testing, probably within a year, just so that I can actively make sure that everything's functional and not terrible by design. What kind of features did you want to implement that couldn't because of time constraint reasons? It's hard to say, honestly, because I typically don't really bind myself to time constraint reasons. If anything, it's probably a lot of like fluff things that aren't really key to gameplay but would be nice. So I talked about having like a new verb type that's just waving. So specifically like greeting someone by waving your hand or saluting or bowing or kneeling. And that's something that's just sort of icing on the cake. It's not necessary. So that's actually on the back burner for now, but that doesn't necessarily mean it won't be done because it's also kind of a low-hanging fruit that I'll probably end up doing later on. But in terms of actual things that I haven't implemented, I honestly don't know. I am the person who 2 years ago threw out all of my work to redo it, basically. So I know there are a few things, but typically they seem to come back because that's kind of what custom content utility or custom content generation was going to be. But then I ended up actually doing that, so I'm very bad at scope creep, which is why it's taken me so long. But it's all necessary stuff for the enjoyment of the game and the longevity of the community, in my opinion. So it's not just things that I arbitrarily want to do. I do have reasons for wanting to do these complex things that take me forever. Although that probably doesn't excuse the time that they take. In any case, so we fixed that bug. Is there any other bug that we can do? Well, I guess time constraints aren't the best roadblock. Well, I mean, they are when you're really tight for cash, or if you really need to get a game shipped. And I do really want to ship this game, but I also, there's a lot of pressure on it because, one, this is my first game commercially from my personal company. Two, this is the first game in the text-based adventure genre that is like seriously taking the text-based adventure concept and trying to update it for modern audiences in a way that's not gimmicky. So I feel a lot of pressure to make it fun and enjoyable and make people, smile when they're playing it and say, it's like, I would never have thought of that. And it's all fun and all that sort of thing. That's a lot of pressure on me. So I think I'm on the right track because whenever I go to conventions, that's generally the reaction that I get. I get a lot of smiles. I get a lot of people laughing, saying, that's something that I would have never thought of. This is a cool idea. And I really like what I've played so far. So I'm on the right track. But yeah, that's kind of my big fear right now, is that I'll release it and it'll be bad, or worse, it'll be mediocre. Mediocre is like the ultimate hell for me. I would prefer to make a really terrible game as opposed to a meh game, one that's easily forgotten. In any case, enough of an existential crisis. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? Let's test the pause menu real quick. Oh, hey, actually, you know what? That would be the thing that I have not done due to time constraints. Multiplayer. That is something that people have talked to me about, and I'm curious about it. But that's kind of on the list of things. So multiplayer and 3D level editors. Those two things are the big things that I am not planning on doing before release. After release, if enough people actually like the game and buy it, then I would not mind doing those things. But so we're gonna have some fun here. We have to basically play through the game until hitting escape does not pull up the pause menu or does not close it. So we're gonna go ahead and quit out. Let's see. Sorry about distracting you with questions. Oh, don't worry about it. I always prefer talking to the chat as opposed to just talking to the void. So let's go ahead and do start. Then we'll continue. Oh crap. Force load. Right, we're still in. And this is what I was talking about. So you can see that I have these little previews. Let's load. Yes. Start. Okay, so now if I hit escape. There it is. Oh, this is interesting. Look, if I go back and forth, you can see that the camera rotates. So yeah, I think this is actually what I've always thought that it was, which is basically double event listeners. Because I think if I do frame perfect escape button presses, then it works. It's super hard to do, but so that is something that we need to fix. But yeah, one of the things that I do want to do is for custom text-based adventures, I want to allow MUDs, basically. Oh, I guess we can actually do this, can't we? Haha. So now I don't even have to declare an entire string. So I wanted to allow players to actually have custom text-based adventures where they can have multiple players. Although honestly, one of the big reasons why I kind of don't want to do that off the bat is because I have no way of regulating that. So I don't want to say it's one of my fears, but one of my concerns is that there potentially could be adult situations and content in custom text-based adventures. And I don't have a good way of policing that right now. That's something I don't really know how to handle. So I don't know if when I start getting more in depth with the custom content tools, if I'm going to say like, is your game appropriate for people under 18? Just so that I can help with filtering results. But That's also kind of presupposing. But then again, if I if I didn't anticipate that, then someone would make a terrible erotic novel or something, and then I would get in trouble because the game itself is definitely not meant for like 17 and up mature rating. But so yeah, that's one of the reasons why multiplayer has kind of been a back burner thing. It's something I'm interested in, but it's by far not something that's on the top of my priority list. In any case, let's see. So this is all working in ways that I would expect. I just talked myself into forgetting what I was trying to do. Let's see. Remove use randomization, climbing animations, partial verbs, and cache sentences, royal painting. Oh, right, the escape stuff. Right. So let's go to. Let's see. Where are you? Player. Scenes hero. Here we are. So there should be a menu controls, I believe. That's what I want here. And do I do anything in start? Nope, it's all in update. So if UI.get, oh, I guess I should probably say like else. If UI.get pause menu is open, UI.close pause view. Wait a second, hold on, that doesn't make sense. Where are you used? Find all references. Ah, here we are. Info.get key down, options pause. If our actor state is alive, then we open the pause menu, and we never seem to have problems opening it. Oh. Okay. I guess the other thing we'll do here instead is say if UI.get pause view dot is open, then we're going to do something, then otherwise we'll say else if, so we'll say UI.close pause view. So I'm curious if this will fix our little problem. Actually, we'll go ahead. I'm actually not entirely sure why it gets kind of buggy there. It doesn't really make sense. The only thing I can think is that it's going up through here, and then it never gets to this else loop. So hopefully having this second check here will work. We will find out. Oh, and speaking of things that I should change, there we go. I really need to put more effort into my avatar guy. There are a couple of things that I need to change. I want to have the itinerary actually cycle through, but that's that's something that probably shouldn't be too high up on my priority list. All right, so we will. So when it's working here, everything seems to be fine. We don't really have problems. Let's go ahead and go to quit. It's all good. Start. Dang it, I forgot. Force load should be U load, yes. Let's go ahead and do start. All right. Really? There. Like works half the time. What the heck? It's like, huh. All right, I'm just going to put a debug in here. say, oh my gosh, escape pressed. Then we'll say closing. Say close 1. Let's duplicate this. We'll say open 1. Alright. Next, I want to say close 2 to see if it even gets there. And I guess we'll also say, so we'll say escape pressed 1 and then escape pressed 2. That way I know exactly which one of these is firing. Because I'm a little concerned that it's kind of getting like mixed up and flip-flopping for some reason. That seems odd, but... Alright. Go ahead and clear this. Oh, and before I forget, we're going to fix that compilation flag. I want to just be able to type continue. Alright, so file, our project settings, player. Get rid of our TQ demo flag. Alright, so that'll cause a recompile. Alright. Let's go ahead and clear the errors. Hit play. Run over here. Wait, what am I doing? I don't need to run. That was force of habit. Okay, so escape all works as expected here. Let's go ahead and quit. Click through here. Wow. What was that, disty? I guess that's apparently how I spell start when I'm not paying attention. Okay, continue. Escape, open 1. Did open 1 fire again? Or... Okay, so let's take a look at this. What? How? So that means that it thinks that we're... Oh, jeez. This could be bad. So it doesn't think that pause view is open? How? That doesn't make sense. So is open basically should be true if the menu is, if its root is open and active, and it is. So if we go here, we can see pause. You can see that the root is active. But just for fun, I'm gonna try this. Yeah. Hold on. So we can kind of like get it if I mash. But if I don't mash, it just seems to, like, nothing happens. Okay, this is interesting. I must have 2 things doing this. 2 things have to be telling it to open. Load game view, which is not happening. Options view, which again is not happening. Right? Surely not. I guess we'll take a look at these things just to make sure. But it should just be these things. Well, you know what? Actually, let's stick a debug into. Let's see. Pause view. Go to definition. Open. I'm just going to go ahead and debug.log open pause. Okay. See what this does. Uh-oh. I broke my substances. Not entirely satisfied with this weird result. But then again, tonight does seem to be a night of strange things that I'm probably overlooking because they're very small. It's just odd that this doesn't happen until you quit. It makes me think that there are two things listening for you to press escape, basically. It's entirely possible. I don't doubt it. But... So let's quit, quit, quit. That is also problematic. Start. Let's continue. Go ahead and go over here. What the heck? It only gets called once. It doesn't make sense. How on earth are you evaluating to false? Do I have like some sort of stupid check in pause menu that says if I press escape I close? Please tell me I don't. Please tell me I don't. Please tell me I don't. I don't want to be that stupid. I do. Crap. That's why. Okay. Well, now we know. If I get rid of this, it should solve the issue. So yeah, it was because my pause menu was essentially just it was closing itself and then it was immediately reopening because the other script said to open it. That is super odd though that it only happens after you restart the scene. It doesn't happen when you play for the first time. In fact, I think it's fine the first time you play until you quit out. Again, not sure why, but that does seem to be the case. So, okay, everything's working as expected. Let's go ahead and quit out. Continue. There it is. Working like intended. Alright. Well, that seems fine to me, I guess. Go ahead and delete that. Unclosed. Do I need to do anything special? No. All right. Ha. So that's a nice little bit of fixing. Get rid of those. Get rid of you. Doop, and doop. All right. I feel like there's got to be one more bug that we can fix before tonight ends. It's been a good night for fixing things. Let's see. Responding. I got a couple of small things to do. I guess I can actually talk about some of the changes that I need to make. Well, not need, but I want to make. Just because they are things that I think would make the game a little bit funnier. Or more funny. So, is that loading? Yep, it is. It just takes forever to load the splash screen. So one of the things that you do at the start of the game when you first start playing is you go through like a small series of questions that says like, what is your name? What difficulty do you want? What's your favorite color? Yada yada yada. And there are two changes that I would like to make to this particular set of questions. The first is, so if we go to a new game, we're going to say, so I say Chris, and then it asks you to confirm, so your name is Chris then. But I've had more than a few people who just type your name, and I kind of feel like it should have a smart alecky response if you type your name as your name. Similar to how when the game asks you to... dang it, why did I do that? It's going to take me 10 seconds to stop playing. similar to how the title screen, when it says type start, you don't have to type start, but then the game will make fun of you if you don't type start. It'll say that's not how you spell start. Dang it. It took me less time to explain that joke than it did to show it because of how long it takes me to stop playing. Unity. Why do you do this to me? This means I have to send in another bug report. Already juggling like 2 of them with them. Well, while this is going on, I could probably go into the other room, make myself dinner, and get a drink. And of course, as soon as I say that, it decides to cut out. Alright, so when you get to the title screen, it tells you to type start. And that's just more of a play on, the whole press start to start, basically. So I can probably actually maximize on play now. And if most people will actually try to spell start, but if you don't spell start, if you just do like st, it'll say that's not how you spell start. And then if you type start here, it'll say, there, that's how you spell start. And then we can go ahead and do all this stuff. So I feel like I should have something similar for if people type your name, then it should give a smart alecky response. I don't know what that response will be, but I think that would be pretty funny if I did that. And even if it didn't do a response there, I could have, like, in parentheses, a smart alecky response as well. And the other thing is, if we go through all this, when you get to the end, are you a hero? It's only a yes or yes question, which is another one of those things that tend to make people laugh. And it doesn't really give you anything if you say no, but I think what it should do is say, like, different messages here in enter text that says, like, but thou must. Are you sure? Come on. Adventure awaits. Things like that. Just to, again, further cement that you should just say yes to it. Like, don't resist the call. Stuff like that. In any case, we're not going to do that tonight. Well, trying to think if that would take me a while. Probably not. Then again, we'll take a look at our new game view. That's where all of this logic is. And the new game view is admittedly kinda not the best. It's kind of hardwired because it does have to take you through a lot of specific checks to make sure that you're not doing something weird. So let's get rid of some of our stuff here. Rid of dial switch. Menu controls, interactive object. I think we're all pretty much good here. Alright. So let's see. Compile. Proceed, I think, is what I want. Correct. Yeah. So this onSubmit function is the same onSubmit that I have in all of my menus for TextQuest. And all that basically does is it just grabs the text from the input field and then parses it out into something readable for itself. Which mostly means trimming any white space characters that you have. Let's see here. So if we're setting name, so we want to go to proceed here. So if we're setting name and not confirming, this is what I was talking about with this like massive step of if-else logic, or else-if logic. And that's because I have to basically rigorously check where you are. That way, if you hit back, we know where to go back to. Fortunately, I don't actually need to change anything here. I just need to add some extra logic. So I'm not adding any extra steps. I'm just adding some extra logic to this. I can't say so your name is smartass because then that would be bad. So maybe I should just have it say your name is Smart Alec instead. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and wrap this in parentheses. Let's see. So we're going to say player name dot toLower is equal to your name. question mark. And if so, it's going to be smart Alec. Otherwise, it's going to be player name. So we're going to say, is it Alec? A-L-E-C? I don't know if it's C or C-K. It's C-K. Okay. All right, then. I guess that seems correct. Okay. Let's see. That seems right. Cool. So let's take a look at that, see what that looks like. This is also one of the reasons why it takes me so long to do things, because I love little touches like this, and I am not afraid to take like 30 minutes to an hour to do them. Although this one will probably only take me 15 minutes. I mean, that one was what? One line of code? So let's go ahead and load this in, skip our splash screen, start, new game, your name, oops. Ta-da! Oh, I probably should actually change player name to be Smart Alec in that case, which actually makes my job a little bit easier there. I wonder if I should also detect your name without a space. Yeah, sure, why not? So let's go ahead and change this to, grab this information, this, all right. So we're going to say if player name dot contains blah blah blah. I guess we'll have to say player name dot to lower that contains your name. And we'll just say player name is equal to smart Alec. Oops. There we go. We'll also duplicate this just to have no spaces as a safety check. Your name, like that. And that should make things a little bit more flexible. So now it'll detect it, and it will actually assign player name to be smart Alec. I just wish I had a. I need to come up with a better term than smart Alec. Something, maybe something in universe that makes fun of you. That could be fun. Come up with a snappier name. All right. We'll let that compile. So that's the smart Alec stuff. And what else do we want? The but thou must stuff, right? So let's go ahead and say if is hero. Are you a hero? Yes or yes. So let's go up here. If is hero. Setting color, favorite color. Right. So if is hero, then we're actually going to do some very specific logic here. View. And we're going to have an array of strings, I think, actually. Let's go up here. Public string hero messages equal to new string 0. Tooltip. Might as well tooltip this stuff so I don't have to forget what these are. Phrases to display when the player tries to enter no to the hero All right. So let's go ahead and go down here. Is hero? If it is no, then we're going to say input dot placeholder dot text. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. Placeholder is. It's a graphic? Really? Well, that's infuriating. All right, give me a second here. Let's see here. Please enter your name. Yeah. All this stuff is fine. Let's go ahead and say public string default input text is equal to, I believe it's just enter text dot dot dot. So I'm going to need a text mesh pro. Public text mesh pro UGUI input placeholder label. Alright. So when we open, we are going to go ahead and say reset values, go to definition. So input text is that, and then we're going to say input placeholder label dot text is equal to default input text. It's all good. And last thing we need to do is just say in our no responses here, input placeholder label dot text is equal to what was it, hero outputs or hero messages of random dot range range. There we go. From 0 to hero messages dot length. And there we go. Yeah. All right. So the last thing we need to do is if we back out of the hero thing, then I need to basically reset this. So if is hero, blah, 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 all this stuff is true. Let's go ahead and say input placeholder label dot text is equal to default input text. All right. Crap. Thanks, Unity. Well, that's annoying. Like really annoying. So let's hope that doesn't force me to re-import everything. No idea why, but for some reason Unity 2017 point. Uh-oh. That could be bad. Unity 2017.1 has had a lot of crashing errors. Well, not really. It's had one crashing error that's happened a lot, which is reload all. Which is that like K max callback thing. But I don't know why it does it. All I know is that it only started happening in Unity 2017. So let's see here. Once it compiles, well, at least I can take a drink. All right, there we go. And now we only have to wait 10 more minutes, because of course we do. Also, it does kind of suck that I have to assign that label. It means I have to make a prefab change. Come on. Come on, Unity. You can do it. I believe in you. There we go. Let's go ahead and turn on our UI. And we need to find, once it compiles, Shazam! Abracadabra. Ah, that one did it. Let's see here. We want new game. Let's drag this out here under our UI. Open it up. All right. Input field, text area, placeholder. All right, so that's all good. Go ahead and hit apply. And I guess we'll go ahead and delete this. Turn off our UI. Let's go back here to new game and add some hero messages. Oh, I started typing, but I need to tell it how many I want. Let's go ahead and just do like 5. But thou must. What is it? Answer the call. I don't know if I should just have ellipses after everything, because I feel like that kind of makes everything funnier. Let's see, what is it? But thou must answer the call. Come on. Do it. What else should I have here? I need 2 more. Let's see. But thou must answer the call. Come on. What are other things that people say when they're trying to get you on a heroic adventure? Dang it. Come on. Believe in yourself, maybe? Seems a little quiche, but believe in yourself. Dot, dot, dot. One more. What could it be? Man, I'm trying to think of all of the like super cheesy movies that I've ever been in. Surely I can get a Snake Plissken or a freaking Ash Williams quote in here. No, except they're super confident, so they don't really need this sort of pep talk. Dang it. Fine. How about Adventure Awaits? There we go. There we go. That's good. Cool. So now let's go ahead and take a shot at this, go through the name interactions, and we should be able to see all of our stuff. All right. Click through here. Start. New game. Actually, no. We'll say normal mode, right-handed, green, my hero. Yeah, I kind of like that. And then, yeah, if we go back, it does fix itself. No. Oh, and I need to do it on progress as well. And just as a test, let's go ahead and do this. Then new game again, enter text. Okay. So that all works. Just means that on proceed, I do need to set our default text input again. So let's see. Proceed. Is hero. Show controls is equal to true. There we go. Let's go ahead and place that in there. All right. Well, that is probably a pretty good place to end for the night, considering it's been 2.5 hours. We got a lot of bug fixes done, which is pretty nice. I got some nice new dictionary interactions, or well, words. Got some issues that have been in there for quite a while actually fixed, and we got some nice, clever, well, more clever interactions going on in the new game menu. So I think that's a pretty good place to stop for the night. So as of now, we're back on schedule for streaming, so we'll be doing our regular dev streams at Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and then Saturdays and Sundays at 3 p.m.-ish on both days. I think Sunday is going to be a little bit different from now on. It's not just going to be an art stream. I think I'm going to try to do more like a recap episode, kind of, to show what I've done throughout the week and talk about what I want to do next week, just to try and bring a little bit more order to my life and let people know what I'm planning and what I'm doing and what I've done or have not done but should have done. So I think that's going to be the format for Sunday from now on, but we'll see what this Sunday ends up looking like. So any other announcements? Not for right now. So all right, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all Actually, before I forget. Wait. Ah, no, I clicked the wrong thing. There we go. Alright, so as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.